Greetings, friends and neighbors. Felix here. I'm on top of Mount Bonelli, I think is what they call it, or Mount Bonnell in Austin, and a real beautiful view behind me here. If you can see, absolutely gorgeous. And just before I left Connecticut, in fact, before I say anything, I'm really surprised because they've got maybe a good hour of daylight more than we do. It's like after 4, almost 5 o'clock right now, and it's still nice and bright out. I know it's pitch black in Connecticut right now. And so what I want to talk to you in the next few minutes is about manifesting your dreams. And just before I left home, I was in the studio and shot some footage on a training session, that a 3-part training session we're putting together through my company, through Shanduko, that we're going to be making available. And it's about manifesting your dream. It's a 3-part training system that we'll be posting and giving you information about. But like I said, I had to leave and come out on this trip, and I'm going to be in Texas for the next 2 weeks. And so I'm away from my usual studio, cameras, lights, and the works. And so I'm just going to shoot some footage concerning this training right here from my iPhone. And I want to walk you through a process I call the dream sequence. And the dream sequence is really when you break down the path that most people take that are able to live out of their genius. Maybe they're good at something, maybe it's an art, or it's they're innovators, they're entrepreneurs. That it always begins with an idea, it always begins with a dream, and the dream makes a difference. And but most of them that are able to, beyond just dream, but beyond just having this concept of something that they want to do, those that are able to actually put feet to their plans and their goals, usually, whether knowingly or unknowingly, they take their dream through what I call the dream sequence. And that's what I want to share with you for the next moments. I want to share with you part 1 of the dream sequence. Part 1 of the dream sequence is that you have to capture the dream. So for example, you have an idea about a service or a product. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. You had an idea concerning something, maybe something that's already on the marketplace, but that could be done better, that could be, improved upon. And you had this tremendous idea, and you felt this excitement that usually comes with conceiving an idea. The path of a dream is that it goes through conception. Conception is that aha moment. There's some that call it the autotelic moment. Great book that was written by a collaboration of, I think, 4 psychologists a number of years ago, and it became a PBS series that was called The Creative Spirit. Part of what they discovered was that great innovation and great ideas and great discoveries usually come from a hot point, a point of singularity that they call the autotelic moment. And this point of singularity really is a convergence of many different processes that bring that about. So for our own sake, I'll say this, is when you get this tremendous idea and you feel it within your very system. I mean, it energizes you. You get excited about this idea. I'm sure it's happened to you many times. It happens to most of us, several times in a year, maybe even several times in a month. Problem is, a lot of people have not learned how to capture that. And so they let that moment just pass. And maybe years down the line, or a few months down the line, they're in the marketplace and maybe just out and about with friends, and they see the commodity or the good and the service that they thought about providing, and they say, hey man, I thought about this years ago. So maybe you're out there and you had the idea that the Uber people followed through on. Maybe you had this idea years ago, and now you see this thriving company, and you say, I thought about doing something like this. For those that the Airbnb people, Airbnb, air bed and breakfast, where they began, same thing. Many people thought about those ideas. There's absolutely nothing new from a conceptual level. The only thing is this: the difference between them and everybody else was that they took their dream through a sequence that allowed them to manifest that dream. And that's what I want to discuss with you right now. It begins with conception. When you conceive a dream and you put enough value in it to capture it. One of the signs that you've put value to your dreams is the fact that you capture it. And the way that you capture it is this, is that you decide to put it down on paper and you write it down. Writing it down is what I call the first stage in manifestation. Because as long as a dream just remains in your head, it's ethereal, it's non-tangible, it has no boundaries around it, it has no particular shape. What brings it its first measure of shape is when you actually write it down. So when it comes from just being this concept floating around in the ether to being a tangible something that can be shared, by writing it down is one of the most important things you can do. What you must understand as well is this, is that when you conceive an idea, it is most tender in its formative stages, meaning as soon as you conceive this tremendous idea and you feel this, the energy that comes together with that, the excitement that comes with conception, you must understand that while it excites you, it is also pretty tender, and it cannot just be brought into harsh light or harsh exposure. And so if you are the kind of person that immediately rushes to revealing the idea that you've just had, chances are that you will expose it to harsh criticism before it has the strength to be sustained. And so a lot of people's dreams are killed almost moments after they are conceived, because of just a lack of wisdom and rushing to expose your idea to people that don't feel the same way you feel about it. They don't share the same excitement. Environment matters. That's why I can take a seed right now, I can place it above ground, I can place it on the table, it can stay there for 1,000 years. But as soon as I take that seed and put it into soil and give it the right moisture, the right temperature, and the right measure of hiddenness, its genius begins to emerge. Environment matters. Don't let anybody ever tell you any different. There are certain things that will only thrive in certain environments. Ideas do not thrive, especially in the early stages, in an environment of harsh criticism. You already will have the internal battle within yourself with what some have called the internal voice of judgment. So you already be dealing with your own self-doubt. You don't have to add to your self-doubt by introducing your innovation or your idea to people that are instantly going to be, I call them, geniuses in forecasting worst case scenarios. These are individuals that will tell you exactly why your idea will not work, why the timing is wrong, why the economy does not support it, and why there are others that are already doing it. The first stage after you've conceived a dream, an idea, is you have got to manage the environment in which you share that. Now, I'm not saying keep it to yourself, because you do need people to be encouraged, but you have to know who in your inner circle you can share your dreams with. I have found that there's certain ideas that I have, I can't even just share that with family. I love my family and I get along famously with my siblings and my brothers and sisters, but there's certain ideas that when they're still in their formative stages, I cannot bring them into that circle. I have to bring them into another circle. I have a friend out in Australia who's one of the guys I share with innovations as soon as they occur to me, because his instinct, his natural impulse is to immediately be encouraging and exhorting. He immediately begins to point out how it is possible. So I've known him for many years, and he's part of my inner circle, one of the guys that I'll share with my ideas as soon as they're birthed. Because some people that actually love me sometimes will try and protect me from my own crazy ideas. And they try and bring in reason and rationale right off the bat. And so instead of just allowing this thing to be crazy as it is birthed, at conception, some ideas are absolutely crazy. They are just off the wall, and they have to be allowed to be that until they become concrete, and until you begin to introduce reason and rationale in creating the framework that can allow those dreams to be accomplished. So point number one in manifesting your dream is that after conception, you've got to take the next step to write it down. And after that, you've got to be careful about the environment that you introduce your idea. It could be business, it could be, a desire for upward mobility in your company. It could be maybe even a change of career. You are entertaining the idea of a complete shift in what you've been doing with your life. That's a powerful thing. It could be your destiny calling you, but you must understand the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement are this: you've got to guard that seed in its formative stage. You've got to write it down, and you've got to make sure that you don't speak criticism over it. You don't even speak, what I'll say is this, is that sometimes, you see, these ideas, you can look at certain things and consider them factual, that it's fact that it's a bomb economy, it's fact that things are not working well. And so you can try and come and approach, visions and dreams with that level of thinking. I'm telling you this, most people that have accomplished anything of real great result and great consequence, they went against the grain and hoped against hope. I want you guys to see this sunset right here. My goodness. If you're not right here where I'm at right now, you're missing out. Back to the training. Step number one, write it down. because you give it the greatest opportunity and the greatest chance for manifestation. Step number 2, protect the environment. Make sure that every input you get concerning it is positive. It is, it protects the integrity of that dream. It speaks, life into that dream. And then step number 3, well, you'll have to wait for the next video. So this is Felix in Austin, Mount Bonnell or Mount Bonelli or something like that. Beautiful place. Enjoying this moment and sharing it with you. I will catch you on the next video. Peace.